Hello, hello. How's everyone doing today? I would hope so. No, you're gonna be just fine. We're gonna get you home, no problems. So, made a post about it earlier. Kind of been dropping hints about it all week, but yeah, today we are actually going to go through with our mission to rescue MrFoxy from the surface of Cylero. He 3 weeks ago now, 3 weeks ago, went on a mission and landed on the surface of Cylero. Very brave. And unfortunately, we didn't have any immediate way to get him back, so we have a new mission ready. I have this modified version of the rocket that he flew out on that we're going to send out there. And the basic plan is we're going to do an orbital rendezvous at Cylero, and then um, we'll have him jump out of his ship and into this one, and then this one will fly them both back. So, first thing I want to do is definitely make sure my staging is all correct for this. It's very important. Landing legs, parachutes, engines. Let's actually put the parachutes in the last stage. Engines, inner stage. Yep, that works. Bearing, boosters. Okay, everything is good to go on this. How you doing, MrFoxy? Richmond Aviation. Hello, welcome to the stream. Good to see you. All right, let's kick this off. We're gonna do this properly. We're gonna get this on the first attempt too. I can feel it. So let's take a look at the map before we launch into orbit. Let's actually make sure that we are that our rendezvous is lined up properly. It is not, so we need to be 45 degrees behind Cylero, I believe. I'm gonna time warp until we are in the proper position. Right about there. And let's warp just a little bit more so we've got a morning launch here. Perfect. Okay. We are ready to go. I'm going to double check, set everything up, get my flight view situated. Performance orbit, that's good. Don't need RCS right now. I'm not going to burn it. I'll lock that, open up my nav sphere, and I think we are ready to go. Let's kick this off. Throttle up, ignite our engines, and we're off. Whoa, 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 whoa. What on earth was that? Big veer off target for no reason. Come on, get back under control. Get back under control. Okay, let's get our shit on course as quickly as possible. Yeesh. This is having some issues right off the bat. Do I think I can make a video of all the lines on the map? Assuming you're talking about here, I'm gonna restart this launch. This is just off to a bad start. Um, if you're talking about like the orbit lines, yeah. I could do a deep dive into how the orbital map looks like and how it works. The basics aren't too complicated. So you've got a line for each of the orbits of the celestial bodies, and you can actually, when you're looking at that, you can actually turn off those orbit lines if it's getting too confusing. So one thing I'll do if I've got a lot of stuff that I'm trying to like deal with, what I'll do is, well, I need to find pilot orientation real quick. Okay. Oh, that's weird. Hold on. 1 second. Let's fix this guy. Okay. Anyway, so one thing I'll do if I've got a lot of clutter in my map that's getting in the way of what I'm trying to do is I will turn off orbit lines and orbit icons for everything except for the craft that I'm flying and my target. And then as far as like the intermediary lines when you're looking at orbits, I can kind of show you what they're supposed to look like here, but basically you have your initial orbit and then any transient orbits and then your final orbit. So a transient orbit might be like you just like hit a sphere of influence, and then the orbit you're going to be after you come out of that sphere of influence is your final orbit. Or you'll have like multiple stages for planned burns is another thing that you can see often. So yeah, it's a little overwhelming. There's a lot of information they try to show in the map in a very short like very condensed space, and so it can certainly be overwhelming if you don't know what you're looking for. All right, we're off this time. Way more stable on the launch. Way more stable. Not too many. It's still oscillating a bit. I wonder. Side boosters can separate. We've got a clean separation. That's good. I'm going to take a look at the autopilot. Maybe bring up the derivative a little bit. And then we'll go for apoapsis. I need to start throttling down too. Looking good so far. Actually, I'm going to start pitching down as well. Start leveling out my orbit. Alright, we are so far good to go. Just going to go horizontal at this point now that we are basically out of the atmosphere. 120,000 kilometers for our apoapsis, not bad. Heading east. Alright, we are out of the atmosphere. I'll go ahead and deploy my fairings. They broke away. We have 2 minutes for apoapsis. I'm going to slow down here. Throttle down and just time warp. We'll do a pretty slow burn into orbit. Stage separation, looking good so far. Yeah, we're just going to coast into orbit now. Throttle up here. We're on our second stage. Here we go, 140 kilometers. Let's bring that apoapsis down a little bit. I don't want my apoapsis to be too high, or I'll start to lose out on the Uberth effect. The closer you are to your celestial body when you do a burn, basically the more efficient that burn is, and it has to do with the change in velocity as it relates to the amount of kinetic energy your craft has. So basically, small changes of velocity when you're going fast have more energy than big changes in velocity when you're going slow. And so try to take advantage of that by getting the most energy out of my burns. We are in orbit now. Let's take a look at Cylero. Let's set that as our target. And target it. Switch back here. Oh, I forgot. We have to time warp again because we undid our last one. So let's time warp again. It's fine. We can get a little closer to an exact window. That should be pretty good. Zoom all the way back in. So we're going to select right about here for our burn time. Yep, and that's pretty much tangential to our orbit, which is perfect. We want to be right on that tangent line there. And here we go for the burn. Should be about 1,800 kilometers. Ooh, we are a little off here. Let's run the clock forward a little bit. Okay, stop it. May have not waited long enough. Let's grab another one. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we've got a connection. Nope, still nothing. Okay, I'm going to. I think we may have missed the window. So let's time warp again, and we'll just go around and try and catch again on the next one. Okay, that should be about right. Select our orbit line again. Rinse and repeat until we've actually got our connection here. 1,600. That's looking better. Oh, I think we had it. Yep. So let's throttle down there. There we go. Okay. Turn my sensitivity down now because we're like overshooting here. I need to make very small adjustments. Throttle back. Nope, throttle forward then. There's our guy. Right about there is where we've got our connection. Okay, so I'm going to lock that in. We are at 1,830 meters per second, which is pretty much right on the money. And we will time warp to our burn. Everything's looking good so far. And we will have plenty of Delta V to spare after this burn. Should have enough to close out our maneuvers. Kind of do any like correction burns afterwards. What do you mean about the connection? So when I said connection, I just meant like my intercept here with Cylero. We're gonna catch it right there at that point, and then we're probably gonna have to make a couple of correction burns after we leave the sphere of influence just to adjust our course, because the auto burns are not 100% accurate and it's always off by a little bit. So correction burns are just gonna come with the territory when we're doing these transfers. Whoa! Hello. That's not good. Did our stage just separate? Yeah, it did. Okay. We've got a relaunch. Let's retry. That was a catastrophic failure. Okay, we'll pretend for now that that was a planned burn and that our crew has returned safely to the surface unscathed because the next stage was totally fine. It was just the booster that separated. Alright, do this one more time. We got to target Cylero, switch back to our craft, and then we time warp around to where we have our intercept window right about there. Should be good. We will throttle up. Light our engines. You don't know how to get to any planet, even Luna? That's not too hard. All you got to do is line up your orbits. That's the key to it. Make sure that you're like timing it right, and the planned burn, the planned maneuver nodes really help. A good general rule, though, like if you haven't gotten to Luna yet, a good general rule is to start your burn node 90 degrees behind Luna, or ahead of Luna, and it'll catch up with you when you get out to its orbit. That's kind of the rule of thumb I've always used. Got to throttle down here. We're going a little too hot. Separate our boosters. No, they're not lost forever. No, they're fine. They're fine. They were in orbit around Drew, so they just returned. Used the rest of the fuel to kill their velocity and then glide back in. We'll say canonically that's what happened. In the meantime, we're going to pitch over pretty aggressively here. Don't lose control. Don't lose control. Don't lose control. That might have been too aggressive of a burn. There we go. There we go. Okay. Alright. Almost in orbit already. This will be pretty quick. We'll wait till we get some altitude. Okay, making our orbital insertion. First stage is out. Ignite our second stage, and we're good. Alright, this one's a little slower. Time warp ahead. This shouldn't take too long, although we are losing altitude, so I need to pitch up a little bit. Just got to give it a second to make that burn. This is the longest part right here, is just getting it out of atmosphere. Almost there, though. Okay, we are out of atmosphere. Kind of a wonky orbit, but it shouldn't matter too much because that's already roughly in the direction we wanted to be going for our transfer. I'm going to go ahead and set up our next maneuver node, and we'll zoom out. Do this one more time. Ooh, close but no cigar. Hey, I might actually have a connection here for less than 1800. If I've got this done outright. Hold on, I just had it. There it is. Okay. Yeah, so this one, we've got a little extra fuel here. Just trying to get that very narrow intercept. There it is. Lock, set the auto burn. Okay, we're going to just take our hands off the keyboard now and let that thing run its course. Not going to touch it again. I think I accidentally touched the spacebar and jettisoned that last stage, which is a huge blunder on my part. So trying not to do that a second time. Let's also make sure our RCS is down. I should build reusable rockets. No, I've tried to, but it's difficult, and there are other things I'd rather do that take up a lot of time. Other projects in this game. So reusable rockets are a huge time sink, and unless you've got a good reason for them, I've just never really cared to try. Ooh, we may have enough Delta V on this. 300. Oh, we're going to be just short. We're going to have to fly in on our other stage's engines. We wasted a little bit more fuel trying to get into orbit this time. Okay. It's only going to cost us a couple, and we still have plenty of extra fuel in our upper stage. Alright. Perfectly fine. 97% of our fuel still left over. And we'll see about our intercept once we get there. Probably going to have to make a adjustment, so we'll go ahead and set up our burn node, pause the game. Let's take a look at what we need to do here to get our intercept. Looks like we're swinging just high. There it is. So if I slow down, 14 meters per second, very small correction burn. Am I able to take off a rocket and land it on the drone ship? I've done it a couple of times manually, but it's not. Again, it's just not something I really prioritize. I've done it once to say that I've done it, and that's about it. Okay, we are going. We've got our intercept, so I'm going to go ahead and time warp us out. Okay, let's see. Let's see how close we're coming in on the planet and if we need to adjust our orbit. I want to get as close to the equator as possible, and it looks like I am pretty close. Where is? I'm gonna go to this guy. Hold on. Zoom in on this guy. Which way? It's orbiting this way. Okay, so we do need to make one more adjustment. I just realized the way our current approach has us coming in, we will be basically going the wrong way around the planet. So what I need to do, zoom in here, is adjust my orbit like that. Now we're going to be coming in on the right side of the planet so that our orbit will be going in the same direction as the planet's rotation. Okay, that burn looked good. So we're just going to go ahead and time warp till we come within sphere of influence. And we've arrived. Okay, so let's see. What is our periapsis for this guy? And can we do an aerobraking maneuver? So here's where we're going to quick save. Very important. So we've got our quick save complete. Now I want to aerobrake through the atmosphere here. So we're going to drop our altitude pretty low. Not that low. Not colliding. Maybe 15 kilometers. That's too far. My sensitivity is too high. Let's make a smaller adjustment here. 20. Yeah, right about there. So we'll lock that. I have quick save, so if this doesn't work, we can roll it back and take a second shot at it. Make our adjustment burn. So far, so good. Everything is looking fine and dandy. Nice. Okay, so we are on target, 14.9 kilometers. Everything else basically can be flown from this view. So what we're going to do from this point forward is I'm going to use a combination of atmospheric drag and my engines to decelerate our craft as much as possible. And the goal is to get basically all the way slowed down, minimizing the amount of fuel we consume so that we can save that fuel for the return trip. Because we do have to fly this guy back, and he'll be flying back with an extra passenger. So there's a lot of weight considerations here. Let's go prograde. All right, moment of truth here. Coming in for the atmosphere. Once we hit about 30,000 meters, 30 kilometers, that's when I'll take over and start flying manually. We're at 100 right now. 40. 30. Okay, I'm going to go ahead, roll over, and pitch up pretty hard here. We're going to use this large surface area of the bottom of this aircraft, or spacecraft, not aircraft, to decelerate through the atmosphere. So far, so good. We're going to try to hold 90 degrees as much as possible. We're pitching forward. Turn RCS on. Nope, we are taking heat damage. Although I don't think that fin's super important. I think everything else is still good. Lost a landing leg. That's not mission critical. Lost an RCS nozzle. Okay, we're starting to lose some more mission critical components here. Might have to go back to our quick save here. Hello and greetings from Germany. Welcome. Hello and greetings from the US. Okay, we are exiting the atmosphere. We did not decelerate enough though, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to load. We're going to restore that last save. Try that again. I think we need to decelerate just a little bit beforehand. Also, I don't know why... Hold on. There we go. I don't know why the live chat wasn't playing properly. Fixed it now. Okay. Coming at this again. Whoops. I forgot to fix my orbit. Restore again. Save deal. We'll do our retrograde burn pretty much right before we hit the atmosphere and then flip around. And again, we're trying to take advantage of that O-berth effect and remove as much energy for as little fuel as possible. Okay, right about there. Too far. Sensitivity's still too high. 0%'s too low. Let's try like 4%. It's more controllable. Okay, 14 kilometers. Auto burn. Hey, Mr. Mayor, how you doing? Okay, we've made our correction burn. Let's time warp in. I'm gonna go retrograde. And right about, we'll call it here. Throttle up. I want to control my altitude, make sure I don't go too deep in the atmosphere. We are looking good. Still got 30,000. I think I'm going to give it another 300. I want about 3,000 Delta V left to get us back. Oh, our landing legs have decided to deploy for some reason. Let's retract those before anything else bad happens. Got one more. There he is. Okay. Go prograde, and we will start pitching up and get ready for our re-entry. RCS on. Here we go. Gonna pitch up pretty hard here. Again, I want as oblique of an angle of attack as possible here to absolutely bleed off as much energy as possible. So we're coming in pretty much totally the opposite direction from our orbital here. There we go. 90 degrees off our orbit. Is that going to be enough? We're starting to decelerate. Looking good so far. I think our heat's under control a little bit better too. Yeah, our heat shields are taking damage, but nothing too crazy. Okay, we are almost out of the atmosphere, so what I'm going to do is pitch forward now. Because we've got about as much energy as we need to bleed off for this orbital pass. And so what's nice about this design is now that I am captured, I can reduce my angle of attack, which reduces the drag coefficient. And I can basically control or throttle the amount of drag force that I'm experiencing. It's like I throttled it back up. You'll see our apoapsis is dropping substantially. And then I can just as easily pitch down towards the horizon, take a more shallow angle of attack, and lose less speed that way. But for now, I think we're good. We are out of the atmosphere. I'm going to lock prograde. We will time warp up. I'm going to actually do another maneuver node here. I want to take a shallower or a higher altitude for my periapsis. I don't want to be so deep in the atmosphere this time. So we'll set our lowest to 22. We'll do 20. Drop all the way down to 20. Lock and time warp to it. How many hours did it take me to build this? Let's see. We did... I think this guy was built all in the first stream. So we're looking at about an hour and a half for this spacecraft. And then I made some modifications in between the streams. Maybe a grand total of like 2 hours of time building this particular spacecraft. So not too long. I could definitely put some more polish on it. Alright, we are coming back down and around for a second pass through the atmosphere. I'm going to go ahead and pitch us up a little bit. Looking good so far. Let's see that speed start to bleed off as we hit the atmosphere. Alright, so you see our apoapsis is dropping. We are decelerating now, and temperature is pretty cold so far, not too crazy. All under the... Oh, no, heat shields are taking some damage. Yeah. Nope, not a whole lot of damage, though. Pretty mild. And we are coming out of the atmosphere, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and flip retrograde. And as we leave, throttle up my engines. We're going to burn just a little bit of our velocity off here. Okay. We're going to quick save again. I have learned the hard way. You need to quick save early and often, so we're going to quick save again and come around for our next pass. Falling back towards the planet now. Here we come. Okay, I'm going to go ahead, pitch up hard. I want to hit a 90-degree angle on this one pretty much. Looking good, looking good. Okay, here we go. We're gonna pitch down, like I said before, if we need to control our drag. So we're losing a little too much energy right now. I want to stop from losing too much energy. And that significantly reduces our drag coefficient, allowing us to glide through oh! Whoops. Remember what we said about quick saves, early and often. Okay, let's try that again. This time we're gonna pull our apoapsis or periapsis up again. We're a little too steep, I think. Just a tiny little change here. Try to keep it right at 20. Lock, auto burn. We'll do this again. Auto burn is complete. Now it's complete. There we go. Lock prograde, and let's go back to flying this by stick. All right, coming in for our second pass, or third. I guess this is our third pass now. Okay, everything is looking nominal. Gonna go ahead and pull up the nav ball. So I'm gonna do this all from the cockpit basically. And what I'm going to be looking at is my orbit information in the panel over here. Where's my astronaut? There he is. Take control. So we're gonna do this all from the cockpit here. I'm gonna pitch up a little bit more. Let's try hitting it at a 60-degree angle as we come in here. I'm just gonna monitor my periapsis, my apoapsis, and make sure that it doesn't drop too quickly. So we've got 80 seconds to periapsis now. Really just trying to monitor how much more time I've got in the atmosphere, and how much more I need to bleed off on my speed here. So we're already re-entering. Looking good so far. No crazy heat. No thermal buildup yet. Everything is locked on. What's the shortcut key for a quick save? I don't know. You can key bind it to whatever you want. I don't really bother with a shortcut key. I just pause the game real quick and then go and do it myself. Okay, 2,000. We've got 3,000 kilometers, basically 2,700 kilometer apoapsis. We still got 30 seconds to periapsis. So I'm actually going to start pushing my nose forward slightly. We are looking good so far. Yeah, definitely building up some heat, but it's not crazy hot, which is good. Pull up my nose again. Try and go for a steeper angle. Really try and bleed off as much steam as I can. 1,800 kilometers. Here we go. And we are almost perpendicular to our trajectory. Okay, 1,400 kilometers. Looking pretty good so far. Where is our periapsis? 21 kilometers. That's good. That's good periapsis to have. All right, we're at 1,200 kilometers and should be coming out of the atmosphere pretty soon at this point. 32, 33, 34. We are out of the atmosphere. I'm going to go ahead and swing around. We'll do it one more time. Coming back around, here should be our very last pass here to drop our speed. Periapsis 20.4 kilometers. And the nice thing about this design is I've actually got lifting bodies, so I have a lot of authority over my periapsis when I'm doing these maneuvers. But right now I'm just trying to bleed speed. But we can pitch forward and actually... Whoa! Lost some RCS nozzles. Ah, shoot. We lost again. Quick load. I thought that was going to work. That looked very promising. You're right. Okay. I think we've got to make one more big bite. If this doesn't work, I'll just burn some fuel. I really felt like that was going to work, though. That was looking really good. Okay. We will do the same thing over again. Let me select... Where's my guy? Take control of MrFoxy here. Let's zoom out. Okay. Roll over. Go ahead and just... We're going to go straight for a 90-degree angle, basically. Alrighty. Just time warp now. Let's see if it can handle it. I think this one will do it. I think this one will do it. Be optimistic. We can do it. It was the RCS nozzle. I think this fuel tank was the one. Let me take a look. 506, 463, 337. Okay, so we will keep an eye on this fuel tank's heat. Monitor that. If that starts to get too high, we can pitch down. But we're going slow enough now. I think 337 points of heat shields should be enough. That should be enough integrity to get us the rest of the way. Still looking good. 53 seconds. $200. Okay, yeah, our heat shield is depleting pretty quick now. Going to pitch up. Or pitch down, sorry. Yeah, our heat shield is depleting pretty quick. Try and take the thermal load off that guy by pitching forwards. 90, 80, 70. It's cooling off, but it might be too little too late. I'm sure that I'm putting more thermal stress on other parts. Yeah. Yep, we're losing it again. All right. We will just burn some more fuel. I was really trying to avoid using extra fuel. But we can burn some more fuel then, if that's going to be the case. Bring it down. Okay. And then we'll bring this guy out to about 18, 19 kilometers, maybe. That's good. We'll set that there. Oh, go back. Auto burn to it. All right. This one will work. We've killed off our extra velocity here. I was really trying to avoid doing that. I wanted to have some more Delta V to work with, so that's going to cut into our Delta V budget for the later parts of the mission, which sucks. Was really trying to save that fuel for the return trip. We might still have enough. If we don't, we can always send a refuel mission out to intercept it. It's just going to complicate it a little bit. Okay, time warp in. Oh, did I just deploy parachutes on accident? No, I don't think I did. No, they're still in. I didn't deploy them. I thought for a second I had just hit the spacebar and deployed my parachutes, which would be bad. because I don't want an uncontrolled deceleration down to the surface. Okay, we will go ahead and take control here. I need to pitch up. I just realized that I was pitched in the wrong direction. I need to be pitched up this way. All right, we're starting to feel that effect here. Let's do this. I think we've got it. We got it on this one. No sweat. Okay, we're coming down pretty close here. We're past our periapsis. Our apoapsis is still dropping nicely. Nope. Lost a couple of nozzles. And we're leaving the atmosphere, so we should be good. We've got, what, 192, 129, 49. Ugh. Man, this thing needs actually heat shield. But we're so close, though. I think that's enough deceleration. I think we can... Hold on. Here's what we'll do. Play it safe. We will quick save. Keep going. All right, one more pass, and then we have it. I'm going to do a pretty shallow angle of attack here, try and really reduce the stress here. I'm actually going to raise my periapsis by doing a shallower angle of attack. $18. Nope. Gosh, alright. Quick load. Restore. Man, we're just not doing it. Alright. That doesn't seem to be working in our favor. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to burn some fuel and we'll just put ourselves in orbit then. We can't do this the fancy aerobraking style, then we will do it the old-fashioned burn some fuel and get us into orbit. So we've saved probably as much delta V as we're going to be able to using those maneuvers. Let's get us down nice and tight. Nope, I didn't want another orbit. Oop, too tight, too tight. Want to be right at about 40 kilometers. Okay, lock. Auto burn on that guy. Here we go. We got it this time. Looking good, 41 kilometers, nice. Go ahead and do our retrograde burn there. 22 meters per second. That's tolerable. We've got 2,329 meters per second, which is enough to get us back to Drew. It's not enough to get us in orbit around Drew, I don't think, unless we do some... We could do some slingshotting. Maybe do a gravity assist decelerate. That's an option. So we'll quick save again. We are in orbit now, and we have our craft on the ground to take control of and fly up to orbit and do our rendezvous. So here we've got the original craft. How much fuel do we have left on this guy? 639 meters per second. Well, that might be a problem. You know what? Oh, you know what we said? I don't remember if you guys remember it from the last live stream, but one of the things we had discussed was... hold on. Settings. I need to find out what the control was for this. End. That's right. And let's bring up the dev console. We're going to cheat just to simulate what would actually have happened, which is in situ resources. MrFoxy, part of MrFoxy's mission we established was to gather resources during his mission, and assuming he did that, he should be all topped off on fuel and ready to go. So we are off. We should have enough fuel to get into orbit. Oop, too much of a steep angle there. That's fine. We'll correct that later. All right, burning into orbit now. And we are up. Awesome. Okay, I will... First, let's correct this. Well, that orbit was way off, but it's fine, because we're using our in-situ fuel supply. Go ahead and retrograde burn here. Adjust our orbit real quick. Perfect. Okay, that's 50 kilometers. That's a little high, but we'll do our rendezvous as we get closer to the actual rendezvous orbit. And then I need to find which one of these is actually the craft I'm trying to join back up with. I think it's... should be this guy right here, though. Similar orbit. Yep, ISS Livestream Craft, that's our guy, so we're going to target him. We need to get a rendezvous. First thing we need to do is find out where we cross his plane. Do an inclination correction. Okay, so we've got our inclination connection right there. Burn some of our fuel. Okay, so we're on the same plane as him. Now I should be able to just wind this forward and he will catch up with me eventually. Yeah, because my orbit is higher than him. So he's slowly catching up with me. He's almost got me here. 92 kilometers out. 10 kilometers out. Okay, we will... I guess we'll go ahead and do one more orbit around. 30. 23. Okay, here we go. We're coming in 10 kilometers now. Time to make our adjustment burn. Real close. Okay, we'll just burn retrograde. We'll coast in here, coming in 8 kilometers now. Oh, we're not going to dock to you, MrFoxy. You're going to have to spacewalk between the two spacecraft. We couldn't afford... We didn't have it in the budget to do a docking maneuver, so you are going to have to do this kind of yourself. But it's more adventurous that way, you know? Like, it'd be too easy just to do a docking maneuver. Okay, we're just really gradually shifting our velocity vectors so they're on each other. Okay, that is as lined up as I'm going to get it. Oh, come on. Just point me towards the target. brute force it. Here you go. 30 kilometers, 20, 19, 18, 17. Well, I've got docking ports on one craft, but the thing is, for the other craft to be a two-person, we had to get rid of those docking ports. So, you've got docking ports on this guy. You don't have docking ports on the second one. Ooh, and I am butchering this now. Alright, that's about as close as I think I can get it. I can kill our velocity. I can probably get a little closer. Let me try this. A little closer. Okay. Closing in. Final approach here. If I can get within 200 meters, a 200-meter spacewalk is enough. 300. Real close here, Mr. Foxy. Almost home. Almost home. 170. Okay, we'll go ahead and slow down. And then what I'm going to do is I'll roll it over so that they're lined up. That. All right, hatch is open. We're going to EVA Mr. Foxy now. I'll do first person point of view. And we are drifting. Totally vulnerable in space. Mr. Foxy is bridging the gap himself in probably one of the most brave maneuvers any astronaut's ever performed. Flying high over the surface of Mars, and you can really see, as close as we are to the surface, you can see just how quickly we're whipping by. What's our orbital velocity? We're at 2,100 meters per second. So you're cruising in like hypersonic speeds over an alien world. It's one hell of a maneuver. Okay. Oh, did I miss my tether? I thought I had the tether ready. Hold on. Well, we're fine. We're fine. We're fine. We're just drifting. Okay. Almost home free. Almost home free. Here we go. Let's open this guy up. Oh. Enter! Alright, Mr. Foxy is aboard. We have both of our astronauts safely on board the ship. Excellent. So we will need to plan our return voyage here. That's the challenge. So let's go ahead and select Drew as our target. Now we need to make a burn to drop our orbit down and meet theirs. I'm trying to think when do we need to do that? Oh, I've got the spreadsheet for this. Hold on 1 second. Let's pull up that spreadsheet. Wrong email. So we've got a little spreadsheet here that actually gives us all of these data points. Trying to find it, because instead of trying to like guess what my transfer angle is. Oh, here it is. Instead of guessing, we've actually done the math. So Cylero, let's select that column. Home and transfer window to Drew, it needs to be -84 degrees behind. So 84 degrees behind Drew. So let's see. That's pretty close. Not close enough though. We're gonna let it go. Let it go a little bit longer. So that's 0 degrees. We're like maybe 15 degrees here, 10. That's probably close to 90. Okay, that should be pretty close. Maybe a little further, a little further. Right about there. We'll call that good. And we're going to do the exact same thing we did for our departure orbit, except we're going to burn on the light side of the planet. Because we're going the other way now. Drop our orbit down. What? Oh, hold on. Hold on. We did this wrong. Hold on. We're gonna time warp around one more time. Let's try it now. Okay. 84 degrees leading. Put it like right there. Yep, that is pretty much on the nose. And go ahead and do our escape burn. That's closer, but we're still off by a good bit here. It's too far forwards of us at that point. What if we try like right there? Let's see if that's a good angle. I know we said we were going to do the data table so we didn't have to do some trial and error, but the data table apparently was wrong, which means we get to do trial and error. So this is a big part of the game sometimes, is if you don't know exactly what to do, just guessing and checking until you get it right. We're closer here. Let's try it. Let's try it here. Zoom all the way out again. We'll actually increase the sensitivity here so I don't have to drag it for as long. That's closer. Okay, we're narrowing it in. Probably need to be... Let's try right about there. You know, the other thing that's probably throwing that off is Cylero and Drew's orbits are not circular. They're pretty elliptical, and there's a large variation between the two of them. Like, it's narrower here by a lot than it is here. So I wonder if, because of where we're doing our burn, that's having an impact on our rendezvous here. Try this again. Maybe let's try 180 degrees. It seems like it's going almost all the way around in the time it takes for us to get that orbit. Got to make sure our burn node is behind our craft. There we go. And burn out again. Oop, that was too much. So now it's lagging behind. So if we warp forwards, if we time warp forwards, it should... Yeah, it should catch up with us if we do it again. Okay, let's just keep doing this till we get it. We're going to get you home, MrFoxy, don't worry. That's closer, but it's still not quite there. Okay. It's a little over 180 degrees. at this point. Three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. Whoa, too far. Oh, that's close. Okay, this is as close as we've gotten right here. You know, we might be able to make this work. 2000. No, not quite. Oh. Oh, I think we hit it. I think we just hit it. We might have just hit it. Right there. Okay, I think we've got it. Let's lock that. And we'll perform that auto burn with whatever fuel we have. How much do we have? Okay. Might have enough. Yeah, new stream layout. I was messing around with it this week and wanted to experiment a little bit. Ooh, that's not good. That's not good. We're not going to make our burn if that's happening. It's like spiraling out of control here. I think our center of mass is a little off. Let's deploy our wings. Okay, I think we can still make this burn work. Nope. Come on. Oh, our autopilot's all jacked up too. That's probably what's causing this. So when we boarded the craft, we probably changed the autopilot a good bit. Let's try manually flying this. We still have a high degree of accuracy. Yeah, we're gonna have a bit of a correction burn to make here, but I think we can still do it. Nope, we are losing it every time that happens. Jeez, every time I throttle up, it loses control. So I've got to guess that was too much. Okay. We're going to kill that burn. So we're on our escape trajectory. We've still got some fuel left to make our correction. We're probably way off. We're not that bad. It's not that bad. We're a little off. We'll go to our apoapsis here. And we'll do our correction burn at apoapsis. But we are definitely homeward bound. Let's see. We've got an intercept there. We can also do an intercept here. So we've got two intercepts here at this point right here. Whoop, I need to turn my sensitivity way down. Let's see. This point right here, which is 107 meters per second burn. But that's later. That takes longer to get to that one. Or if we really put the brakes on, we can hit him here for 159. So I think I'm actually going to go for the earlier intercept and get him home, like a week sooner than otherwise. Okay, time warp. We are at our burn node and basically in deep space at this point. Nice. We are... All right, we've got our intercept right there. Let's take a look at it. Come on. 92,000 kilometers, closest point of approach at this point. That's not too bad. So we are off. Go ahead and watch us fly in here. Whoa, what the heck? That was weird. Okay, zoom in on our craft. Oh, hold on. That was a mistake right here. Come on. Let me select my guy. Can we hit any of the moons? Nope. We're coming in a pretty steep angle here. So we're gonna have to make a pretty generous burn to get this to work. And we're coming way over the orbital plane. That's the other issue. Actually, let's just trash can this one. So we're way over the orbital plane. That's our biggest issue right now. So let's start by dropping our orbit to maybe a less extreme inclination here. Okay, 300 kilometers, 110 kilometers. Oh, too close. Right there. Let me undo that, actually. Okay, we will lock our craft on that burn node. Oh! I meant lock, not delete. Shoot. Okay, let's try that again. $269, up too far. Okay, we will take it out to 82 kilometers and warp to our burn. I did see the Astra rocket launch. So I haven't been following Astra as much as SpaceX. Was it supposed to take off like that? Was it supposed to go sideways? Or is that was that an accident? Because they weren't super clear about whether or not they wanted it to do that or not. Because like one video I saw said that it was like there was an explosion or something, or some other like failure on the rocket caused that to happen, and then someone else was saying like no, they wanted to do a lateral launch. So, but I definitely watched the clips. Crazy, like crazy weird launch profile for sure. Okay, just gonna bring my orbit down as low as possible while keeping it out of the atmosphere. Really want to take advantage of the Oberth effect. Okay, and we are on approach. We'll point us retrograde. We're at 102. Whoa, shoot. That's fine. Overshot by a little bit, but not a huge deal. We will just angle ourselves in a little bit here. And start our retrograde burn a little late. I think the rocket took off sideways is not to destroy the launch pad. That would make sense. Okay, so is it a materials thing where the launch pad they have is like not rated to handle that? I wonder why they couldn't just build a launch pad that could handle the force of a rocket taking off of it. Like if you're building a launch pad for a rocket, you might as well make it work. Um, it's just weird to like engineer a launch system that's so complex, like to take off laterally, as opposed to just engineering a better launch pad. Okay, we are in for our final descent around Drew. We're gonna go for a water landing basically. So I'm just trying to get as low of an orbit as possible, kill as much energy as possible in these last stages here. Looking good so far. Actually, we can probably manually kill some more of that velocity. Oop, that was too much though. flip it back around. I want to be outside of the atmosphere here. 50, 60. Okay. And this will be our final descent. Okay, we are coming in. Final approach here. And we are going to suicide burn, basically. Kill as much velocity as possible. And then point Prograde. Let our heat shields do the last bit of work here. Nope. Heat shields could not handle it. No, that's okay. All right, so we've got our craft here basically. It's fine. It's basically here. So we'll delete that. MrFoxy, you've returned home. We've got our guy back. So, you know, one of the nice things about the Drews is that they're actually invincible. So, MrFoxy and his pilot, right before their craft failed, they actually pulled the cord, bailed out, and parachuted safely back into the water, ready for their next mission. So, congratulations, MrFoxy. You ejected just in time and escaped that what would have been a horrible disaster if it weren't for your quick thinking. So we will go ahead and end that mission. We have brought our pilots back, basically. Close enough. I think the next thing up on the docket was doing a little bit more to our mega station. So we have a couple of modules already up there. We need to put a crew on the station, obviously. Let's see. Let's load Streamcraft, was it? No. Stream Station Build. Yes, it was this guy. Okay, so we have our two hab modules. We're actually not going to launch these guys, though. Because we've already got the main habitat modules on the ship. That's not what we're going to be putting up. Today I want to do the crew and an observation module. So what I wanted to do for the observation model, in the new update, they changed some of the settings for the cargo bay that I wanted to take a look at here. Let's see. One door, no door, custom. I've not taken a look at this yet. I'm actually very curious. One door. Let's see what it opens. Okay. So what we can do is I want to paint the door here transparent. Whoops. Not that one though. Is it trim 2? One of these is the transparent one. Trim 3. Trim 4, not trim 4, because that's the inside. Primary. Okay, so it's not the primary. We want the primary to be white. Is it trim 1 then? Yes. Okay, so we've got trim 1. Trim 2 is white. Trim 3 is white. Trim 4 is white. But the primary is going to be clear, so that we can close this guy now. If you close this guy, now we've got basically an observation bay like that. So we've got a little place where pilots can sit and have a nice view out of the station above their heads. We'll do a radius of 2 meters. And then let's see, we can add some chairs to this guy. Let's actually, hold on, let's put a fuel tank on it. Let's finish building it out. And we need to add our command ship, obviously. And then we'll set that command ship to be the primary, right there. Perfect. Okay, so we've got that guy set up. Let's take a look at this chair. I want to do parallel, or not parallel, but mirrored chairs like that. Bingo. That's perfect. And we can probably scoot these in a little bit, like so. And then do another one. Same deal. Rotate him around and mirror symmetry. Scoot him one click back as well. Perfect. So that is our observation module. I like how it looks. It actually is, maybe it's a little too wide. Now that I think about it, let's shrink this down a little bit. And we'll shrink these guys in as well. Do 80 meters radius for the outside pieces here. 80 meters like that. And then let's take a look at these guys. Scoot the chairs back up so they're not tucking out of the back. That's not what I want to do. Come on. Cooperate. Tuck it in. There we go. Okay, so that looks good for the first set of seats. Let's scoot these other guys back in as well. I want to get them as close to the same as possible. Drop that down. And then I think these guys need to come forward one. Perfect. Okay, so those are our observation seats for our astronauts. Let's see. We've got... What can we do? We could do MFDs is one thing we could definitely put in there. So the MFDs can be like computer terminals for our astronauts to be working at. Oh, we can have them line up nicely too. Let's set that a little higher like that. So if I think if I do 1 meter by 60.6, right there, and it's on the default program, and I can rotate this guy around. I think it's going the right direction. And mirror that. Do the same for this seat. Rotate around and mirror it as well. Okay. Now the one downside to this design is the transparency. Like if I try to do the paint here, obviously it's transparent from this direction, but it's opaque from this direction. And if I use transparency like that, then the whole floor becomes transparent, which is not what I want. So what I think I can do here is we'll use structural panels to basically recreate the floor and then do a full transparency. So kind of cheat the system a little bit. And we'll make these massless as well, because it's even the fact that I have to do this is silly, and I don't think it's cheating to use Tinker Panel in a situation like this where it's totally aesthetic. Right there. Right there. Come all the way out. Same for this guy. All the way out to the edge. Like so. And then we'll make a copy of him. Put another one right there. We'll rotate. What's the angle here? 67.5 degrees, something like that. It doesn't have to be exact. So we're basically just going to tuck it into the wall. That's probably close enough. No. Let's go down to 5 degrees. I can probably get a little closer. Let's go down to 1 degree, because this is really, really close, but just a little off. Okay, that's good. And then shrink this guy down as well. So right there. And right there. Do the same thing for it over here. What was this? Negative 22. So if we do, whoops. That's not what I wanted. All right, go back to the wall. Angle 22? Yeah, 22 should do it. Okay, now let's try painting the inside of this transparent again. And bada bing, bada boom. Now we actually have floors and walls where there used to not be any. So we can tuck this guy down in like that. I'm actually going to make this a little wider because I want these to clip. I don't want there to be gaps between them. Okay. And then shrink them down, make sure that they're flush and not hanging out. One, two, perfect. Okay, we got that set up. Let's close this guy back up and put our end cap on it. Right there. Okay, and that is our observation module. It's a little clunky on the outside, but I don't really see a way around that because if I shrink this at all, then it becomes exposed again. I guess I could come in here, try and move it up a little bit. Like move it in towards the screens, but if I move too far, yeah, it just swallows it up. So that's going to have to do. It doesn't look great, but I think we can blend in the parts here to make it look a little better. What are we doing? We are making a observation module for our station. So it's going to have a glass, basically a glass dome over it that the astronauts can look out. I want to make sure we don't have any texture on that guy. Let's change the paint job on it as well. So it's trim 1. And we can go for like a bluish hue. Much lighter though. Okay. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so we've got that part of the station complete. We've got our observation deck, our command deck sitting right there. Scale it. What do you mean? What direction do you think I should scale it in? Do you want it bigger, smaller? Well, while you think about that, I'm going to finish putting these last pieces together. We need our docking port. Very important. Oh, hold on. I guess I have to do this in reverse order. Like that. There we go. So we've got one docking port. Make another one. Flip it around. Throw it on the bottom there. So we've got our docking ports in place. We're going to use these guys as monopropellant tanks. Okay, so those are both monopropellant tanks. Tinker panel. Can I be one of the 4 astronauts? Sure. Yeah, we could definitely use some volunteers for the crowd, for our astronauts. I don't have any names picked out for them anyway. I was just going to do the randomly generated ones, but we can definitely throw some real names on them. So we've got 2 astronauts there. Whoop. Not what I wanted to do. And 2 astronauts there. So they are sitting. Slight problem with the feet, though. We're going to have to tuck these chairs back a little bit. we change the type of chair too? Yeah, there we go. That'll work better. Now their feet won't be in space, which is a big problem. We'll change these as well. I still think we have to back them off a little bit. Yep, okay, that looks pretty good. We've got those set up. So what we need to do now is throw on our batteries and gyroscopes. And then our RCS ports, obviously. And the RCS ports are going to be a little tricky for this one as well, because we are putting them... we can't put them over the dome, right? We can't put RCS ports over glass, so we're going to have to get a little creative with that portion. I'm actually going to change these too. I don't want monopropellant. I don't want that much monopropellant. So we're going to empty those tanks out. We're going to have these be our monopropellant tanks. We'll put one there. And we will tuck it in right there and stretch it all the way out so that it reaches the full length. And these will be kind of like end caps for the screens here. That looks pretty good. We'll go ahead and do a mirror for that as well. And then I think what we'll do is we'll have gyroscopes on the ends of these. Can just slap them right on that. So we've got gyroscopes on the end, and we will do for the internal portion of these compartments is where we'll put the batteries. So we're going to try and counteract the weight that we've got here, because this whole observation deck is going to be bottom heavy the way it's set up right now. And so I'm going to try and counteract that by having the batteries mounted high up on the wall here. Because batteries are very heavy, and we can use that to kind of displace the rest of the mass here. So we'll have that mirrored. And then I don't know if, is there a way I can... Nope. I'm trying to think of like a way I can do that. Maybe put it here. Shoot. There we go. Okay. I want to get just this guy, because I want just the tanks there on the end. Part connections. Delete that. Delete those part connections. So we've just got the end cap now. Just the end cap. Get rid of the old one and flip this guy around 180 degrees. And then we'll rotate him 0 degrees. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so we've got our batteries in place. We have our seats in place. We've got our screens in place. We can attach floodlights. I don't think we'll do floodlights on the outside. We're going to do some lights on the inside, though. We definitely want the inside of this room to be lit. So, but first, let's finish working on the batteries here. Let's change these textures up a little bit. Panels will probably suffice. Panels for that as well. And then let's add... You know what we could add, actually? On second thought, I'm not going to add more docking ports. I want to limit the amount of docking ports I use, because with the HUD, the docking port HUD thing, if you have a bunch of docking ports on the craft, it gets super confusing. What are we making? I'm making an observation module for the station. Got panels there. Okay, so we've got those in place. Let's go ahead and add our RCS blocks now. So we'll copy this fuel tank actually. Length 20 meters, radius 10 meters. Make it a cube. And what we're going to do is, if we have these blocks on just the sides of the craft, I think, shoot, didn't want to do that. I think if we have these blocks on the sides of the craft, it should give us enough axes of control that, let's think about it, because you've got top of the block for down, left, or down, right, forward, backward, up, and then the opposite side does the opposite, and you can rotate. Yeah, this should work. So we only need 4 blocks, mirror symmetry like this. Let me get our RCS nozzles out. 1, 2, 3. Put this one on the side here. 4, and cooperate. 5. There we go. Okay, so we've got, that's one RCS block. Let's group this up. So we've got another one there. And then that's mirror symmetry already, so I can just put this guy down on the opposite side and try and get it lined up exactly in the same place. It needs to come a little farther. Let's make sure that its opposite is also there. Yep, it is. Okay, so those are our RCS ports, so that should be enough. Let me check my center of mass. That's going pretty much straight down the middle, so that's lined up as well. Perfect. Attached to the end of the tanks. So I've got, we could do them to the end of the tanks, but we'd actually be losing a little bit of our directional control that we wouldn't necessarily need to lose. I think they're fine right there. We'll do some other stuff though to make these look a little better. We're not done with the aesthetics yet. We're just working on the core stuff right now. Let's move on to the lights though. So we want probably 1, 2 lights would be enough. Let me make this guy go away. Hide him for now. There we go. Okay, if we do a light like that, and then let's take a look at this. We want pretty short range, pretty low intensity, but a wide angle. And then let's set them to, let's do activation group 3. That looks pretty good, actually. Hide the base. Hide the base. Yeah, that lights up the cockpit pretty nicely. Everything else is in place. We've got our astronauts in place. A light blue light. Could be a light blue light. I think we'll just stick with the cream for now. That cream colored light's probably fine for now. Let's attach. Whoa. It's freaking out trying to find the right connection port here. Here's what we'll do. Turn off part connections for everything but the interstage here. There we go. So that's connected on. That's a pretty small module. We could throw some other stuff up. Let me make sure that my pilot orientation for this part is correct before I do anything else. So I need to make sure that this guy, let's let's see. Okay, that's about right. So everything should be mapped properly if we're controlling this guy from that perspective. We could add... You know, here's what we could do. Gonna add another docking port to the bottom here. We could do another science payload. We don't need solar panels. We already have a huge solar array on the station, so I'm not going to put any solar panels on this guy. But we could do a science payload on this guy, which could be fun. Also, I just realized I kind of did this in a silly way. I'm going to mirror that. That looks a lot better. So let's do a science package. So what's going to be on our science package? We need an antenna for sure. And since the last antenna's exploded, it might be a good opportunity to re-attempt putting an antenna on our craft. So for the antenna, what do we want? Probably want to use an actual fuel tank for this. Pretty narrow, and it won't have any fuel. We're also not going to have any control surfaces, control systems on this. Maybe one set of RCS ports at the very back, just to balance out the weight that we're going to be adding. But I don't think we're going to do any like independent systems. This isn't supposed to be flown separate. It can be detached, but it can't be flown separate. It's just a payload. So we'll have that set up there. We can do we'll do a strut, 180 degrees. Doesn't have to be very long, but it needs to be a little wider at the base. And this will be the base for our antenna. And we can do a rotating antenna this time. So I'm going to put a motor on it. A smaller, less obnoxious motor, though. And then what's the lowest RPMs? 10 revolutions per minute, so that's 1 every 6 seconds. We could do a robotic arm. Robotic arms are tricky, but we could definitely do one. Yeah, we could try one. Let's focus on building this guy out first. So we've got our rotating base. Sink that down right about there. Next, we need the actual antenna piece. And for that, I'm going to use a fuel intake. Okay, except that's not connecting for some reason. That's weird. Poke your head out again. Maybe if I use a fuel tank instead, it'll work better. There we go. Okay, intake. Perfect. And then let's shrink that down. All right, so that's our antenna dish. Let's change the texture. That looks pretty good. And then next we need to add a piston for the antenna receiver. Should look something like that. Make it a little longer. Okay, that looks pretty good. I feel like that looks about as close to an antenna as I care to get at this point. What we're going to do, though, is this isn't hinged at all. I want to add a hinge on it, like so, with just a couple of degrees of freedom here. 10 degrees should be plenty. And then we'll recede this guy all the way down into the base, like that, and bring this guy in nice and tight. Also make sure, yep, there's no fuel in these fuel tanks. Perfect. So that is our antenna. I think we'll have to change the control groups, obviously. But that should do it for the antenna. Let's see. Activation group 3 was our lights. Activation group. We could do 2 for our science, or for our antenna. So 2 for the hinge rotator and the electric motor as well. Perfect. Hello, cool power girl. Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Okay, so that is our antenna built. Let's do the robotic arm. So I'm actually going to do basically the same base, but we'll change it up a little bit. If I can get this to attach properly. What is going on here? There we go. We don't want the antenna. We don't need a piston. We don't need this. Well, no, we don't need this. And we're going to go off this guy. If we have range of motion on each of these pieces of 75 degrees, I don't want it to be like a 90 degrees, because then it could bend back and damage the craft. Like that. And narrower on the base there. Okay, so that will be our starting point for these guys. Why is this? What is this doing? There we go. Okay. So I want to put the robotic arm exactly opposite our antenna. Like that. Now we've got our rotating base, which right now that's on a motor. I don't think I want it to be a motor, though. We need it to be a rotator. And it's got 180 degrees of rotation, so it can get all the way around, full 360 degrees of movement. Okay, turn part connections back on. So we've got our first stage, which gives us 1 hinge. Oh, come on. Just attach already. There we go. So that's, if that's the first leg, to make that a little longer. And then we have a second elbow joint here. This one actually needs to be 90 degrees, now that I think about it. This one can probably be a little narrower. And then if we had some sort of, maybe a docking port on the end of this. So we could actually have something to where you could like reach out, dock with a component, and then the robotic arm, like you could dock with the robotic arm and the robotic arm could move the component to wherever it needs to go. That's one thing we could do. Now we need to do an initial rotation for this guy. Oh, that's right. 15, 0. And to avoid past failures, because when we did our last live stream last week, we didn't do this, and I realize now we should have. Collision response, none for all of these components, so that they don't like freak out and break each other. None, 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 and none. We'll leave the docking port. We'll leave the base as active. Everything else we're going to turn off collisions for. Bring this guy out just a smidge. Okay, so we've got our arm. It's got a shoulder joint. We don't have an elbow on it. I don't think I'm going to put an elbow joint on it, though. I don't think I need to. Just based off what we're trying to do with this, I think an elbow joint's kind of over the top. Let's make this a little longer, though. This is 1 meter. Let's do 1.5 meters. We can even take it out as far as 2. Or, actually, let's not do let's not do one of those at all. Let's do a piston. So we've got we can control the length on our robotic arm as well. That'd probably be good. So fully extended, we want it to probably come out to about there, which gives us an extra bit of freedom. Perfect. Okay. I think that will do it for a robotic arm. Now we just need to make sure we've got the right activation groups. So, and we do have other sliders we can use as well. So we might want to, we could probably play around with which sliders we use to control these parts. Let's see. So the rotator, where is it? There it is, rotator. I think these are all slider 1, and that was activation group 2. Let's make the robotic arm activation group 4. So set all of these to activation group 4. 3, 4, and then let's set let's see, slider 1. Okay, so slider 1 controls the rotating base. Slider 2 controls the hinge. Slider 3 controls the length. Actually, let's do slider 3 controls the wrist joint, and slider 4 controls the length of this whole thing. Perfect. And then to make sure we have proper control capabilities, we will add an RCS thruster at the very end of this guy. What other things can we add? We could probably add on the sides of it some long extending antenna like that. Tuck it in a little bit, mirror it, and let's see. Those can go, oop, didn't mean to grab it. Those can be put on the same activation group as our antenna, which was 2. 2? Was it 2? Are they all on 2? Hold on. 2, 2. Okay, so it is on 2. So we'll put these on 2 as well. Mirror it like that. And we could do little electric motors on the ends of these and have like spinning probes. Could look pretty cool. So let's do electric motors. I'm going to use the Tinker panel, make them real small, very small motors. They have probably 30 RPMs. That's 1 every 2 seconds. So a faster rotation speed. And then we'll add just a little fuel tank attached out to the end of it. That's not the right orientation, though. There we go. A little longer. Right about there. And then tuck this guy away like so. Okay. Activation group 2. Let's do slider 2 for this guy. This guy can just be slider 1. Perfect. Okay, that is all the components that I wanted to add to that. That was a relatively simple one. I do need to actually tuck this in, though. Can't have it fully extended at the start. It needs to be tucked in like that. Is that going to fit? Yes, it will fit. That's perfect. So that is our science module. Do a little aesthetic work here. I'm going to do the crossbeam pattern. Can we do a double up on the pattern though? Like that? Yep. Awesome. So that looks pretty tight. Everything else here is looking good. We could probably spice up the colors a little bit. Maybe do like the silvery color there. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. We could also do a gold for the dish. That looks pretty good. I think we just did gloss. Let's do custom. Let me make it a little smoother. There we go. That really pops. Alrighty, so that's looking pretty good. Now, I think the last thing we need before we actually send this guy up is we need names for volunteers. So, out of everyone here in the stream, who would like to be on board this guy as we take off and send this towards the planet? We've got 4 guys in the observation module right now. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. So I need 4 volunteers. MrFoxy has just gotten back from his last mission. So if anyone wants to throw their name into the hat, and I will name an astronaut after you and send you to the station. While you guys are talking about that and deciding if you want to volunteer, I'm going to attach this to our interstage. If it'll let me. There we go. Come on. Take a bite. Vincent Adams. Vincent Adams has thrown his hat in the ring. Vincent, you are on the mission. Welcome aboard. That's connected. Oh, shoot. I'm not connecting to this wrong thing, am I? Or I'm connecting it to the wrong thing. There we go. Yes, we are continuing to build off of last week's live stream station. We got most of the way done with it. But we still had a little bit room to work on it and a few other things that we needed to add. For instance, astronauts need to be added to the station. So we are now at that stage of the process. We got our fairings on. It can probably take this guy off now. I don't know what happened to cause him to get added. Make sure that I got all of it. Nope. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. And get rid of him. Okay, we got that out of the way. Okay, so who do we have? We got Vincent, K Just Draws, and DYJMP are on the mission so far. Are there any other takers? We've got one more. One more spot on the station. Any preferences for your colors? Vincent Adams, you're in. Oh, I need to break symmetry, don't I? Okay, so this guy, we got Vincent Adams, DJYMP, and then in the back seats, we've got K Just Draws. And I don't think we have any other takers for our 3rd seat. So you know what? I'm going to put myself in the last seat. So I will be on the mission as well to the station. And we've got our fairing in place. I'm actually going to make this section considerably shorter. Maybe not that much. 4. There we go. We've been here for a while but not been paying attention. Well, hey, I appreciate you being on the stream anyway, even if you're not paying attention. It's always nice to have you guys here hanging out, even if you're just kind of listening in the background. I know a lot of people will listen to live streams in the background as like a study aid, just to like have something playing. So I know I definitely do that with a lot of people. DJ, you want an orange-red color. Okay, so let's see. Which guy was you? Hold on. Let me just move this. Zoom in here. I think you were one of these guys. Is this you? Yes. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, what do we want to color him? Could throw some red on. Whoa, 2 red. We can throw it on the red trim, though. Vincent wants green. Oh, I'm still editing him. Let's zoom in on Vincent. We got green on that guy. So we've got red and green for you. You know what? I'm gonna go with orange on mine. Day jump. Ah. Do you want me to write it as day jump then, if that's how it's pronounced? Day jump. Day jump. There you go. And then what did Kay just draw? You have any preference? We'll leave you as blue. Can I be red as the primary? That red's really red. You know, we can do it. That's a very red outfit, though. If we do red for your primary, let's do gray for your secondary. That look pretty good? I think that looks pretty good. We'll call that good. Kay, you want like a gray suit, so I'm gonna give you. We'll do like the shiny metallic thermal suits that they had back in the, I think, the Mercury program, where they had like the tinfoil colored suits. So you'll be great, and then I'll just do white and blue. I'm fine with the standard colors. All right, let's check our staging. Make sure everything is in line here. We've got 4 booster engines. We got 4 booster engines. What is this? Oh, that's weird. These are in the wrong stage. That guy, that guy, that guy. There we go. Okay, so that we've got 8 booster engines, or the 4 and the 4 side. Oops, that's the wrong one. What the heck? Fairing base. There we go. Okay, fixed it. Got everything in line here. All these engines burn. These separate. The fairing separates. Inner stage, Titan engine, inner stage. Okay. Everything is lined up and ready to go. We are off for the launch pad. Staging should be fine. I just ran through that check. There's always something that's wrong with it, though. Oh, and we've got the frickin' like high emissivity orange on it. I want to fix that. Make the trim black. Hey, K just draws. You are in luck. I'm already going back to the vehicle editor, so I will do that as well while I'm there. Change around these colors. Is it this orange? Emission 0%. I don't know why it always does that. First try to the space station. Well, this isn't our first try to the space station. We've landed several things on the space station so far. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Hold on, let's try to get a good angle here. There we go. Okay, you wanted black for the trim. We could do black like that. Yeah, I think that looks good. You know what, while I'm at it, let's take a look at the color for this. I think we were using this one. I'm actually going to switch it to a yellow, kind of a cream. And we'll bring up a little bit of emission as well. Maybe just like 11%, mostly transparent, but a little emissive, so that the light will glow a little bit in the dark. Oh, first try with this rocket. Yeah, it's first try with this payload, but we've been using this launch vehicle. I think this is like the 8th or 9th time we've launched with this launch vehicle. So this has been my workhorse for the streams. Because it's got lots of Delta V, it's very powerful. It gets us where we need to go, and it can take a lot of payloads. So we are off. Gonna go ahead and start pitching over. So far, so good into the launch. And we'll start our roll. There we go. Level off. I'm gonna throttle down now and continue pitching over. Okay, we are at 9,000 meters and closing in. Keep throttling down. Okay, we will go ahead and lock prograde and follow up with the orbital prograde for the rest of the flight. Should get us there. Go ahead and separate those. And start pitching over. So keep our thrust weight ratio right around 2. And burn for maximum effect basically at this point. We are just trying to get our apoapsis up as much as possible. I don't know if it's just me, but I like the old launch plumes more than the new ones. Yeah, I've heard some people saying they like the older ones. I personally like the new ones a lot better because it's a dynamic. It's not just a like static particle effect. It actually like responds to how much throttle you have and how close you are to the landing pad. I think the new system is pretty cool, but I can see why people don't like it necessarily. Let's go ahead and target our space station here. We'll throttle down, do an orbital circularization burn right there, lock, and go to it. We are burning away. Look at our guys in there. Nice and happy. You're kind of glowing red. Your emission's probably too high too. Probably should have just launched by day. Yeah, probably. It's fine though. We can do a night launch if we want to. Now I want to go ahead and burn here. Turn off the RCS. Don't want to be wasting fuel low in the mission. Okay, that's about as close as we're going to get. Go ahead and go for that auto burn. Looking good so far. I'm actually going to open up the other slider as well. Let's see. 2 was our antenna. Nice. Look at that. That actually looks really nice for our science payloads. Gonna go ahead and turn them off, but it's cool that those work so nicely. We'll go ahead and speed up time a little bit. This is a long burn out to our apoapsis here. Okay. We will go ahead and circularize in our new orbit. Oh, 221. 352. Oh, we almost had a pretty close approach here. Let me turn the sensitivity down. 53 kilometers. That is awfully close. 50. You know what? I think that's about as good as we're going to get it. 50-kilometer closest point of approach is really nice and tight, and we'll brute force it from there. Go ahead and circularize. We are almost in orbit. Going to rendezvous with the station now. All right, we are 50 kilometers away at our closest point of approach. That's perfect. Let's go ahead and warp time forwards now. Here we go. Okay, so let's switch our reference frame to target. I'm going to just burn directly towards it. so. Ooh, that's awfully close. Let's go this way with it. Okay, so we are on course, and that's going to deviate a little bit. And we can make a course correction here. I'm going to get it basically as close to perfect as I can. And then lock prograde and just do a big acceleration towards it. Okay, so that is probably good enough. So we are now just going to drift towards our target here. Whoa, too much, too much, too much. It's okay, we can compensate though. Start burning towards the station, kill our velocity. Okay, just try and aim towards the station as best I can, adjust our velocity vector so that we're pointing right towards it. Nope, nope, nope. Didn't mean to do that. That's fine. That's fine. We'll start drifting towards it again. There is our beautiful station. We are within 1,000 meters. Coming up on our closest point of approach, I'm going to go ahead and start decelerating our rocket. Zero meters per second. Perfect. Let's point towards it. And we will go ahead and deploy our payload. So our payload is away. We have our translation mode enabled. I'm going to go ahead and enable the docking HUD, and then let's switch over to one of these docking ports. Yep, so it's got to be this one. So we are on course at this point. I'm going to go ahead and turn on our RCS group. And we've got translation mode enabled, so if I press forward, yep, we are now closing in on our range. I want to bring us in nice and steady. Perfect. So we are closing in. Now we need to pick a docking port. Where are we going to put this guy? We could put him on the end of one of these modules. Kind of want to keep it symmetrical for now. But we'll we will do one of these modules. Let's switch to this camera real quick. Let's see. Probably the easiest guy to grab at this point is going to be him. So we'll go ahead and select him as our target. Switch back to the proper docking port. Now going to decelerate as much as I can. Oh, those are flipped. I need to go this way. There we go. So we are on course towards the docking port. You can actually see our shadow just touching the top of the station arch there. Okay, so we are swinging around. Basically, we're going to come and bring our module around like that. Okay, now it's time to kill off as much velocity as we can. What mods are these? This is the docking HUD mod you can get on the website. It adds a whole bunch of nice little features that assist the docking approach. I use it all the time. Makes it very nice to line up docking. Okay, we are almost there. Going to turn off translation mode and orient. We'll orient this way and begin our approach. So we are drifting towards the station now. Okay, it's just a matter of maintaining our approach nice and steady. I'm actually going to slow time down a little bit here. All right, final seconds here. We are almost docked with the ship. 0%. We're a little off here. It should compensate though. Give it a second to correct. 87, 88, 90%. Come on. Boom. We are docked with the station. Alrighty, we are docked. We have our astronauts on board. Look at that. Awesome. And let's go ahead and extend our payloads here. So we've got our science antennas locked out. We'll go ahead and turn those off for now. I want to turn on activation group 3, I believe. I'm going to need all 4 sliders. Let's go ahead and test our robotic arm while we're at it. Let's see. Slider 3. No, this is activation group 4, isn't it? Activation group 3 should be the lights. Yep, activation group 3 is the lights. So activation group 4 here should be our robotic arm. Uh-oh. Seeing something of a minor malfunction here. Oh, you know what? I think this might be welded wrong. May have accidentally broken this a little bit. But you know what? In the grand scheme of things, that's okay. The docking arm wasn't mission critical. But hey, you know what? We've got our station put together. We'll go ahead and turn that off. And just turn on our panels here. Look at that. I am very, very pleased with how this station is turning out. So what we can do is expose our crew to the vacuum, where they will then inevitably die. I mean, not that. What I meant is we can open up our compartment here. And, whoa, once the camera figures out what it wants to do, let's look at what our crew is looking at. We can have one guy looking at navigation. So I think DJ, or Day Jump, that's right. Day Jump, you're on navigation. Let's see. K just draws. He is going to be looking at our orbital speed and all that information. Very important. I'll go ahead and look at the radar screen if I can select myself. Let's see, radar. Boom. So I'm on radar. And then our last guy, Vincent, let's see. You could be looking at fuel or settings, gauges, radar, orbit. Orbit. Let's have you looking at our orbit. Perfect. And we will go ahead and shut that. So our command module is all set right there. We've all got our tasks we're looking at. And our station is complete for now. It's looking really good. Could definitely add some more stuff to it. we've got our solar arrays. We've got plenty of power. We could add another solar array if we wanted to. Put one on the bottom here. But I think for now we'll hold off on that. I want to add maybe a fuel depot. So like several large fuel tanks on one of these sides, so we could have crafts come up and refuel if they needed to. But yeah, this is our station for now, and it is huge, by the way. So actually, to prove how big it is, let's go for a spacewalk. Let's take who wants to go on the spacewalk? Day jump, are you up for a spacewalk? Give you a second to respond while I fix the camera here. Let's see, which one is day jump? That's me. This is day jump. Right. There we go. Take control of him. Oh, no, I need you to stay open. There we go. Thank you. And we will EVA him. Alright, so day jump is now exposed to the vacuum, totally alone. Go ahead and close the command module. Let's go this way, just to show how big this guy is. Look at the size of this monster of a space station. Alright, we'll go first person. Let's see, I think we can put I want to say that one of these habitats can actually be... Yeah. We can actually put you in one of these. Let's move you... Oop. Let's move you into there. So you are now in one of these. Are you in this one? Where'd you go? Crew, nope. Crew. There you are. So you're all the way over here in the command module over here. We've got our guys over here. Boom, did you include me as an astronaut? No, sadly it did not. But we can, you know what, we can add you for one of the next missions we do. We can do that next week. Go ahead and deploy our solar panels as well. Look at that. You know, I'm really proud of how this is shaped up. Let's see, where's the planet? It's orbiting. There we are. That's a masterpiece right there. Hey, Tyrion. Random iSpace broadcast before I saw you were live. Yeah, I've been going for, let's see, 2 hours now. 2 hours, 20 minutes. I'm actually getting ready to close out here for the end of the night. But glad you could stop on for the end here. We added another module to our station, and we attempted to rescue MrFoxy. It did not go 100% according to plan, but we made it work. And as far as I'm concerned, he is back home safe. Although technically, he may or may not have burned up in orbit. But yeah, we've got an antenna on there, looking nice and fly. Let's see if we can rotate the station around here. Perfect. All right. Well, I think I'm going to leave this stream here, guys. Thank you so much for all of your viewership. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. We'll be streaming again next weekend, probably. May have some family coming into town, so it's kind of up in the air, but I intend to be back on. If not, I do plan on having a couple of videos uploaded in the next few weeks, so keep an eye out for those. And you know what? I hope you guys all have a great week. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye. Oh, wait. Someone had a pretty good idea. And I kind of want to see it happen. Quick save. Quick save. Let's see, what module? What module should we blow up before we call it quits? Hold on. Quick save. Really want to make sure I don't like totally fuck this up. Quick save. Quick save a couple of times here. Okay. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous that I'm totally going to destroy this. Let's pause it. I think you can destroy multiple modules. So it is quick saved. So we aren't going to totally screw ourselves over. Let's destroy that guy. Let's destroy that guy. Let's destroy that guy. Let's destroy this guy. And let's destroy this guy. Here we go. All right. Gratuitous explosion for your pleasure. Yep. That is exactly what I thought would happen. You know what? Let's quick load, restore that. Yeah, and remember to quick load before I save and exit. That would be bad. But we're gonna do that one more time. I want to just destroy one module though. Blow up one module and then quick save and exit. If it'll load. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, it's taking a minute. It's taking a minute. Guys, we may have just destroyed the space station. Nope, we're good. All right. We are going to quick save again because I'm paranoid, even though I know that doesn't do anything at this point. Let's blow up. Let's just blow up one. Okay. Let's see what happens if we just blow up one. At 1/5. Oh wait, no. We can do slower speed, can't we? Settings. Slow-mo speed times 15 slow-mo speed. Let's do that. Let's see what's the damage here. Oh, that was nothing. That was weak. Quick load. Let's do that one more time. Come on, we can do better than that. Okay. Let's do that guy. That guy. And this guy. And this guy. Okay, at 1/15 slow mode speed. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, very satisfying. Look at the destruction there. Parts are flying. That is very fun to watch in a very sick and twisted way. All right. Let's recover it. Quick load. Restore. Make sure I click the right button here. Everything should be good to go. Okay. Our station is intact. Our astronauts are alive. End flight. Save and exit. Mission successful. Alright, that was cool. Whoever suggested that in the comments, thank you. That was a good idea. And now that we have gratuitously destroyed a space station, I will see you all next week. You all have a good one.